Mr. Cat, gonna move over a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to leave. It just means you gotta move over a little bit. Oh my. Thank you. Oh. Hi guys, Sal, maybe your Terry Base Michelle would say it is my time in the microphone. It is Monday, and it is very, very cold right now. Like current temperatures right now outside in Winston, Connecticut is 9 degrees Celsius. Not at all appropriate for the 8th of May. So if you're wondering what's going on, for those of you who have not been keeping up with the weather changes, as Michelle has pointed out to you, things are changing weather-wise very quickly as our sun hasn't been generating quite as much energy this solar cycle. Right now we're seeing trends that are close to that of what has affected us during the time of the modern and Dalton minimum. It's definitely going to be more like the Dalton minimum than the modern minimum, and which is a much longer period of time. During the time of the modern minimum, which is the time of the Dark Ages, the Earth was extremely cold and extremely not nice. Okay, so we saw a lot of crop failures in the Europe. As Michelle pointed out this morning, we also saw a lot of failures. People were huddled up in the cities in Europe a lot. The rats with their fleas, it was the fleas actually and the rats that jumped off. The fleas bit people and helped increase the bubonic plague or Black Death. And that was all caused in part, but not only because of rat infestations in the grain stockpiles, but it was also the issue of his people were not getting enough to eat. The French Revolution took place in part because of the fact is that there was a shortage of the grains. This is at it was the modern minimum. The little ice age didn't actually end until around the very late of the right after the 1776, we started to see the earth start to warm back up again. So that's kind of an idea. Yes, George Washington did indeed cross the Potomac and on December 21st of, was it 1769? Something like that. And it was for his number of ice chunks, and that was indeed very rare at the time. But obviously, with what's going on with the weather right now, is not at all so rare. Is that people are actually starting to seriously wonder what the hell's going on. So let's go through this. Michelle, of course, knows more about this weather stuff than I have, so I'll let Michelle explain some of this. Thanks, there is a new trend going on right now. You know that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is still trying to push the agenda that things are okay. And anyway, I'm just trying to see that everything is playing here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I don't need to show any more of that. And obviously, we see our one waiting watcher has disappeared. Not surprisingly, probably because they realized they weren't going to get any fun out of it. First of all, guys, let's be honest here. This channel is not meant to be a slapstick routine, okay? This channel, and me and Michelle have agreed that these channels will be, our main goal is to inform and to educate, and that's what we're going to try to do. We're hoping to have online chats with you all, but, well, first of all, the computer's over there in that room next door, and we're right here, and so there's no easy way for us to read the screen from here unless we go over there. So what we'll do is we're going to focus on kind of doing it halfway, okay? This show is usually about an hour long. Sometimes it runs a little longer. So we'll start by focusing on the news, the events, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, Michelle, you're going to finish what you're saying? the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change is changing its name to some name I can't even remember. Okay, they're still trying to push the climate change agenda. One of the things that we just saw recently, and I thought was disturbing, was the Weather Underground, which is actually owned by the Weather Channel, used to have a chart that would show you the highs and lows for the month based on the statistical highs and lows. So you can compare the statistical highs and statistical lows with the actual high and low temperatures of that day, of the month. Well, that chart's gone. And I have a hunch the reason they took that chart out, that graph out, which really is no big deal. It's just a computer software generated chart anyway, right? That still was a really nice chart to have. They took it out because now if you really want to get the same highs and lows numbers, now you gotta go do your own calculations and plot your own data sets and everything. And the reason they took it out is they didn't want people to see the truth that right now the temperatures that we are seeing are way below the normals ranges of the highs and definitely way below the normals of the lows. For example, we know that the temperature right now, today, it's 9 degrees Celsius right now. 9 degrees Celsius is actually, it's supposed to be about 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. You do the math, that's 13 degrees below normal for this day of the year. Now, given the fact that the temperatures are so cold, it's also, we're going to be seeing nighttime lows tonight of in the low single digits. We're talking about 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. That is ridiculous. And I am truly concerned because of the fact that, like I mentioned this morning in the vlog, is it's affecting the crops. And of course, in livestock that depend on the crops, like the wheat and the corn and the barley and the oats, and of course our baking of our baked foods is affecting it. Right now, we were supposed to see a high of 13 degrees. 12 degrees. Okay. Expected low tonight is going to be 3 degrees Celsius. And the funny thing is all these weather chart data, oh, this changed. Yeah, this number changed a lot right here. But that's so far in the future right now that I'm not even going to use those numbers. So just to say, this week, from just Tuesday through Saturday, we're seeing temperatures, as I said, from right now, it was supposed to be 12 degrees today. It wasn't even close to that. Tomorrow's going to be 14. Friday, Thursday's going to be 14. Friday's going to be 15. Saturday's going to be 14. And Sunday's going to be 12. But the lows are the concerns. 3 for tonight. 5 for Wednesday. 6 for Wednesday. 7 for Friday. 6 for Saturday. And 8 for Sunday. That's closer. 8 is closer to where it should be for a low for the 7 year. But seriously, guys, things are not right. Okay? And in the futures markets, notice that. Like David Byrne brought up in the Dev 2030. So I'm going to explain this to you. When everything in the store, okay, goes up in price, when because there's a shortage of grain for people in livestock and animals. When there's a shortage, there's going to be a demand is there. It's not going to change. People are going to be hungry. But if there's not enough food, the prices are going to go up because the people demand they got to get the food. They're willing to pay more to get less. It also, unfortunately, means that the farmers, of course, are stuck with the fact that they have a dwindling supply. This causes the supply and demand curves. There's a break-even point where the cross is, okay? Right here. Okay, my fingers I'm wiggling right now is the supplier side, and the fingers I'm wiggling now is the buyer side. There is a price point where they cross where everybody's happy. Of course, the farmers want to make as much profit as they can. The buyers want to get it as cheap as they can. Look, guess what? They're all the way down here, actually. But there's a price that they kind of mutually agree on, which is we say we're going to go ahead and we're going to buy the grain at this price that we both kind of agree is fair. Well, fair is a relative term. But the truth is, if the farmers can't make enough grains and cereal crops, oats, wheat, barley, alfalfa, sorghum, and rice, there is going to be a shortage and a very, very hungry populace looking for food. Louis XVI in the French Revolution did not listen to the needs of the people. Of course, he king had his grain supply. Oh, come on. Royalty took it from the French farmers as taxes and left the French farmers starving. They were hungry. So the quote that is so famously attributed to Marie Antoinette, which she did not say, but the aristocracy kind of thought that way anyway. I guess that's why she probably said, "Let them eat cake," right? Let them eat cake. My ass, you make a cake, you're gonna need wheat, you're gonna need vanilla, you're gonna need milk, you're gonna need dairy to make a cake. And guess what? It's not gonna work if you can't get the ingredients to make those things. So while Marie Antoinette herself did not actually say, "Let them eat cake," the aristocracy certainly was thinking that way. Well, people in the peasants who saw that in the bourgeoisie and the king of France was doing these horrifically terrible things, and they felt they were getting screwed. That is what La Miserie is actually really its background of it's about. It's just that. The hungry, meager peasants were trying to find a meal. Well, what's going to happen again? Because our crops are failing globally, not just the United States. So because of that reason, if you can't get a pound of flour to make a loaf of bread, let's be honest, carbohydrates, guys, are the staple of the human life. It's not beef, it's not pork, it's not chicken. Really? The most important thing we keep always saying is, I need my carbohydrates. Of course you do, because that's instant fuel. Sure, we need our proteins too, but the proteins, they need to eat too, right? Your pork has to eat, your cow has to eat, and your chicken has to eat. Okay? So because they have to eat, they're competing for the same food that you need. And that is what is going on, is the fact that our crops are failing. And I'm talking about agribusiness crops. We're talking about the big guys, the people that grow huge amounts of food like ConAgra. Those guys, their crops are failing because their wheat has been damaged, for example, in western Kansas. And someone's knocking on the door, I think. Someone's knocking at the door again. Yeah. Hi.
Is Dory here?
No, she's in Torrington today.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Nikki.
Yeah.
After I get the video done for today, we got some of that cake that we made. We don't know if you'd like to try some of it.
Oh, maybe later I'll stop on, okay?
Yeah, come on about 7-ish. It's just one of our neighbors. Okay, so not only are we going to be seeing the prices increases again, and just like back then, the aristocracy in the United States, be it in this case Congress and House of Representatives, are not going to be in the Department of Agriculture. They know what's going on. They do know. They're not stupid. Do you think that they're going to increase your food stamps? Of course not. Uh, Unfortunately, no. They're not going to increase your food stamps. So that means that those of us in the lower trenches are going to be eating worse and cheaper and crappier food and getting bigger. Well, the thing is there's a good reason why that is. Would you like to explain it? A lot of the cheaper food is full of very, very commonly um, additional additives and preservatives, extra salt, extra fat. Hey, gotta keep it cheap, right? So, why give 100% beef if I can go ahead and serve you 25% beef and say 50 or 75% soybeans? Well, that's great, except the soybeans crop is also decimated. So what are you going to replace it with? Dog food? Pretty close. Yeah, that's another thing. But what are people going to eat? If the crops are failing now, what are they going to eat? Well, sometimes I think it's really bad. It's been known that human beings have eaten dog food and cat food. But let's talk about that topic for a minute. Okay? Because this is related to the lethal injection bullshit. One of the most common killing drugs used in both people and animal executions is pentobarbital. Now, this stuff stays in the tissues of the animal when they're dead. Okay? Some unscrupulous rendering farms will buy killed dogs and cats, repackage it as pet food, especially dog food, and it's already got awful pentobarbital and other lethal drugs that are designed for lethal injections. So what happens? The dogs don't die. They get immune to this contaminant. It's the reason why more and more executions of animals are taking more and more of this poison. The same thing is happening with some of the humans that are eating this when they go into onto the gurney. It takes more pentobarbital to kill because of the same reason they've already developed an immunity to it. But somebody who's never eaten dog or cat food like that from animals that were killed by pentobarbital are actually finding out they're going to end up dead themselves. Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a new drug on the market. It's called Grey Death. It seems our street friends have created the perfect lethal injection drug. You don't even have to shoot it up. All you have to do is eat it. You're dead. You're flatlined. Instantly. Why the hell couldn't they have heard that instead of compounding pharmacies? If you guys want to kill people so bad, how come these people on the streets make your drugs? They can do it for cheap. At $10 a dose, one time. Finalize it, one dose. Boom, you're gone. Yeah, problem solved. Because they're stupid. Because they're stupid. They're stupid because of another reason. Loam, listen to me. We have taken as much as I don't feel comfortable with capital punishment and to be administered so laissez-faire. However, I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to do the deed, do it fast. Do it cheap. Do it now. Okay? A .357 Magnum pointed at the guy's head. Boom, boom. Problem solved. You don't need a big fancy machine that's set up with a set of carabines, pointed at him, push one button, to have the guns randomly go just to fill the guy's head full of holes. Come on! We don't need a big fancy machine to administer poisons into the blood vessels. Socrates was killed with hemlock poison, for God's sake. You guys can make the simple process simple. But I really begun to wonder if lethal injection is really just a big, giant, highfalutin, expensive process when you can go onto the street and pick this stuff up called Grey Death and die just from touching you with the gloves. With gloves, even! This stuff is so severely toxic. Holy Christ on toast. You guys create these fancy drugs, and the people in the street are creating even more dangerous drugs that compounding pharmacies could never imagine. Yee! Disgusting. Disgusting! Won't you hire a guy on this street to make it? I'm sure he'll make you a couple doses of the stuff. Why don't you think of that, Arkansas? Why don't you think of that, Texas? The only reason why Connecticut said no more lethal injections, no more death row. We're not going to have a death row in Connecticut. It's decided. That's not worth it. It's not. Because you turn the whole process into a big dog and pony show, and instead of keeping it simple, our ancestors to deal with a death row condemned, put the head into a noose and open up the goddamn trap door. Boom! Down it goes. He breaks his neck. He suffocates. He dies. You put him in the body bag. You send him to the family to be able to process it and burial. Boom. Simple. Why the hell did you have to come up with this crazy stuff? And yet the people in the street, the illicit drug market is coming up with a perfect poison, and you guys could have easily gotten and sold to you. Oh. Okay, so back to the weather, Michelle, please. Okay. All right, I will do. But I mentioned that for another reason. What's that? Some people may actually grow desperate enough with feeling absolutely that everything is coming to a crashing end. And these are the ones who are the really chronically depressed ones I'm talking about. Some people may not realize that there is a light in the tunnel. Okay? Here's a light. If you are doing vertical farming, enclosed vertical farms, and you sell the kind of equipment needed for vertical farms, you can clean up and really make a steady profit. I mentioned that in someone's life. So you're saying this is like in the city, you can build a small vertical farming arrangement so you could sell crops from the city. It's an enclosed farm. Very much like the Franklin Mushroom Farm. Same deal. Okay? It's inside a building. You grow your crops. You got your LED grow lights. You have temperature control. You can grow the food you need. And if you are the person that sells the equipment and supplies that those urban farmers can use, you will have a steady growth source of income. And the farmers will have a steady source of food for sale to the community. Because after all, you're not going to see people go ahead and take gray death and poof, end their lives because they can't have a bowl of Wheaties in the morning. That ain't going to happen. Okay? At least I wouldn't. Look, I have been around a long time. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of resourceful and ingenious people come up with solutions to problems. So all I'm saying is, to all those people who feel that everything is coming to an end, there is changes that we will persevere. I don't see humanity being ready to throw in the towel. So here's what. We survived the last ice age, the last of the ice age during the dark ages. That was called the dark ages for that reason. It wasn't because of lack of knowledge. It was because it was dark, cold, and dreadful. That was no. As I said, it got so cold that the Thames River in the UK froze. They called these river fairs, where people would gather in the wintertime to actually have, they would have stalls and places you could buy food and things like that. Pretty cool time, right? The last fair, if I understand correctly, was around 1667, I think it was. About that. Okay, the point here is this. You can just visualize. Humanity is smart. We can come up with a solution to almost anything. But we've also seen it come up with some stupid solutions as well. Okay? Hydroponics has always been a science fiction staple. It has never changed from being a science fiction staple. Yes, we really do have hydroponics. Yes, we really can successfully grow crops without the dirt. Yes, we can grow lots of crops in um, a farm like that. And yes, they don't take as much space. And that's something that we're going to need anyway. Because we live, especially in urban environments, if the weather gets bad enough, you're going to need to be able to bring the food closer to the people. And that is where hydroponics is going to be the answer. Because the agribusiness can have the food right there, right in town. We can grow wheat, we can grow corn, we can grow carrots, we can grow potatoes, oats. Now, I'm not saying everything is going to be growing exactly like you would expect. For example, wheat and corn go pretty high. But yes, you can grow food like that. Yes, you can prevent going hungry. Yes, we will find a solution to the problem. Yes, we can also create new forms of wheat and sorghum and other things that are going to help make possible for us to grow food and feed the families and the multitudes. That is guaranteed. Absolutely. And no one's watching right now. That's fine. That's fine. You don't like it? That's okay. Everybody has a choice to watch what they want. Guaranteed. Absolutely. And so, no one's watching right now. All right. So the question here is, okay, if everybody starts doing this, growing food in vertical farms, in enclosed vertical farms like this, then what would happen mean for all the farmland that wouldn't be used anymore? It would be allowed to become, what they call fallow. Well, the farmland needs some time probably to recover anyway. It's going to be so covered with snow anyway. It's not going to be easy to grow anything on it. Granted, it is true that for beef and pork and chicken, okay, we're gonna need to feed these animals too. We're gonna want to have our beef, our pork, and our chicken, okay? And those, we know that, for example, the grain-fed grass-fed beef, free-range beef is better and has better taste than cattle fattened up in stock pens. Yes, it does. Okay. But in this case, we're talking about a situation where there may not be no choice. If there is so freezing cold and there's no way that the cattle ranchers can get the cattle out into the fields, because if they do, it's full of snow. The cattle are going to be suffering from that too. They're not built to deal with freezing like that, especially domesticated cattle. Okay. What about aquaculture? Aquaculture is growing of things like food from the ocean. That includes kelp, that includes fish, and shrimp, and many other things that can be raised and harvested in modern aquaculture setups. Great idea. Absolutely, positively works out great because you will have a good source of protein, and that's always key to the human race. We need protein. Protein is one of the building blocks that keeps our hair good and our eyes good, and it helps to provide muscle tone. Very important to have protein, but if things change enough, and we're gonna have to change along with it, and we're talking potential mini ice age that could last for another 20, 30, 40 years. That means a completely different way of looking at the problem. Of course, we know that the Dalton minimum was much longer than the moderate. Yes, it was. And the minimum, which was actually the time of the ice, the Dark Ages, was a serious issue. I sometimes get the two mixed up, but there is a difference. You're right. But if one thing that we have now that we didn't have back then in the 1500s is we have advanced our science knowledge and study into how all the systems are interacted. So yes, we can come up with a solution to the food problem. Okay? Now the food problem in this case is simply enough, just like it sounds like. Okay? You want a steak. I mean, you want a steak. You know it takes how many pounds of grain it takes to fatten the cow. You know how much resources it takes to take the cow to the stockyards. You know how much the most effectively a method to kill the cow. In this case, bull. Usually it's a steer or bull. You know how much hunger it's going to strip him down for his meat parts you want. Clean up the carcass, dispose of the unwanted parts. We know that. That's a known fact. Okay, well, some of our middle, Dark Ages people knew some of this too. But we know, for example, which things are going to be easier to acquire if there's another ice age. What kinds of things can we get? What kind of grains can we feed them? How can we grow the grains? How can we make sure that the cow is healthy and strong and get good meat quality? That stuff is where science comes in. Okay? Unfortunately, we're talking about agribusiness, and agribusiness is going to sell as much cow as it can, and that's in this case that's a business. That's what capitalism is. Capitalism isn't so bad. It's just that it doesn't always work out exactly the way you want. So if you can sell the meat of the highest quality of beef, and it could happen, this guys, seriously, it could seriously happen. So the price, and it is going to happen. They already said the beef futures are out of this world. Okay, right now, what would you feel, say if I told you might end up paying as much as $12 a pound for steak? Crazy. No one's going to pay that. They are, because people in the futures have already said that is what they're hedged their bets on because of what's going on with the climate change. The shortage of grain to feed the cattle is going to result in prices of beef going up through the stratosphere. It's just the nature of the equation. Because after all, you still got the same basic things as with human beings here: food, water, and shelter. If you don't have enough food for the cattle, okay, and that means that the yield is not going to be as good. You're not going to get as much out of the cattle. Well, you mentioned humans, but you don't eat us. Normally, okay. I'll leave the normally alone because I'm sure there's some cannibalistic societies that would. Yeah, there are some. Okay, but still, if the quality of the meat is what you want, you got to have good grain, you got to have good water, and you got to make sure the cattle is kept warm and dry and happy. And if you don't have those things, the cattle is not going to be good. In the case of dairy cows, they're not going to produce as good of a milk. You need all those things. You have to have all three. It doesn't matter if you're a hog, or if a human, or a cow or chicken. You need good food, you need good water, and you need shelter. In the case of the Dark Ages, shelter was a premium. People were those that lived in the urban cities were packed in like sardines, trying to keep warm because they didn't have central heating. That increased the risk of disease, and when you overpopulate disease, maybe on a chicken farm or in your local community, the amount of disease goes up too. So right now, given what I'm seeing for the weather trends for this, before I say the end of this year, you're going to see more and more crop failures and more price going up in the store because there's just not enough money. It's good. It doesn't matter how many dollars in food stamps you get. Okay? Like I said, if you're gonna find out that you're gonna be paying $12 a pound for steak, or even $6, $7, $8 a pound for hamburger, ground chuck, you're going to seriously go, I gotta find another source for those beef products somewhere, somehow. Even if it is the lesser quality beef parts. It's human beings will make it happen. What about the scientific created meat that they're talking about? The schmeat. The schmeat. Possible solution, but I never actually tried it, so I don't know. Right now, it's not mass produced. But obviously, scientifically created meat could certainly be a solution to the long term problem. But right now, given the price as I see for a scientifically created Schmeat burger, which was a test burger available for a day or two in the UK and a show, for at $1,200 a burger, I don't think it's something that most people are going to be embracing at $1,200 for a hamburger. A single hamburger patty made out of Schmeat. Nope, it's not going to happen. The On the other hand, if the free range beef currently is going to be cut into, because this means you're going to be left with stock pen meat, which isn't as good. You're going to be left with possibly agribusiness is going to do whatever it can to make the meat look better and stronger by injecting lots of antibiotics and chemicals into the cows and cattle to make the meat better and bulkier. Even if the grain of the meat is not as good, the marbling, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's people will buy it if they think they're going to get something out of it. But at $12 for a pound of beef, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. Because first of all, I can get my proteins from other things. However, here's what the reality is. Even the vegetarians are going to be finding, and the vegans are going to be asking themselves, how am I supposed to get more food when the businesses that grow my food are having a hard time raising the grains, the corns, the cereal crops? Well, yeah, you're just as screwed as the meat eaters are. So you just have to accept that's just the way it is. Hope that your food growers are already on the ball and looking to vertical farming and indoor growing. So take a look at this. Here's a business. This is where it kind of works in the marijuana business. Saying they've already mastered these techniques for growing the perfect yield of marijuana inside. So now the companies that sell marijuana growing equipment can now branch out to other agribusinesses and say, hey, look, yeah, we can design you a system to grow corn and wheat and barley and alfalfa and sorghum inside. Absolutely. And we can sell the equipment at a lower cost because we've already perfected the techniques for marijuana growing. So now we just got to go ahead and maybe make some fine adjustments so that you can get the optimum grains growing for the wheats, the corns, the barleys, the oats. And then, of course, the same thing with the carrots, the cucumbers, the potatoes, the broccolis, the cauliflowers, whatever. So we match the lights for the kind of crop based on the kind of light that plant likes the best. We match the proper temperature, the proper humidity, proper oxygen to carbon dioxide ratio. It makes the plant happy and still makes it possible for your workers to work in there without environmental suits. Great. That's what you need to do. Right? This is the kind of thing that's consistent. Because it's consistent. The temperature is regulated. It's at a constant number. The air is the proper composition of air to carbon dioxide. The water, if it's an hydroponic system, is properly, you get the proper nutrients, it's consistently. If you are using dirt, same thing. The dirt can be properly maintained, and that means that you can grow more food in less space because you can also go vertical. That's what it means by vertical. It means that you can build a farm and like layers up and it's great for small spaces. A couple years ago, on the Planet Green, which is no longer available on TV, I really got mad. I really kind of liked Planet Green. I thought that was cool. One of the things that Living with Ed was talking about was is self sustainability, as to knowing how to grow your own food and using in larger cities to also show that discussed the use of urban gardening using the roof of big skyscrapers. Why not? They're flat. They're huge fences, usually asphalt. It's usually called um, um, asphalt roofing. Okay, it's made out of layers of rock and cork and stuff for asphalt. Well, go ahead and just plant whole green groves of crops on top of those roofs. That has the advantage. It keeps the sunlight down. It keeps the heat down, and of course, it keeps the roof leaks down, because the roots, when it rains, the roots of the plants will absorb the much needed moisture, and so the water will not actually necessarily penetrate through the asphalt and get into the surface rooms below. Great idea, but I think right now we need to change the whole way we grow food. Absolutely, and of course, right now, for what do you think's going to happen this summer? This summer from which area? Well, like you mentioned this morning, is the Sierra Nevadas. You're going to be able to go skiing all summer long. That's right, because they have such a huge amount of snow in the Sierra Nevadas. There's enough snowpack that probably will not melt all by the summertime's over. Um, well, I think you're going to see more of the continuation of this crazy weather, of the flooding, the rain, the cooler temperatures. Um, it, I know that our channel people are probably saying to themselves, but it's supposed to be summer, it's supposed to be warm, it's supposed to be outside enjoying the nice sun and getting a tan. Well, you can go out and get a tan, but right now it's mostly cloudy, so you're not really going to be seeing much tanning weather. And that's caused because of the gamma rays. According to a couple of scientists, yeah, the gamma rays is helping to increase the cloud cover. And of course, with the colder temperatures from the sun not being as flooding up as much, it's not helping either. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we got about 20 minutes left. Let me return the camera over to the computer, and so that we can actually look at your questions and see if we have any. And so let's just move this camera over to that room. So say it's pretty good focus right there. Okay. Okay. Right now we have a total of switch to night mode in YouTube gaming. What is this? I have no idea. Oh, I'm not playing games, so. Alright, so let's scroll down here. Right now, no viewers. So I suspect that the majority of my people have not really gonna watch today. No. Okay, so yeah, not really no one out there right now. Nobody out there at all, right? So let's make this simple, since there's no interest. Okay, first of all, let me turn the shirt toward me so you can see me. Shout here. We want to thank you for watching this channel. I know it's not the kind of show that some of you may enjoy. Our channel was never intended to be a show that was always going to be for fun. We have some serious things we have to discuss sometimes. Anyways, was Michelle's intended channel purpose on her channel, which she's doing Friday. Right. And my channel used to cover spirituality. And since this is definitely relates, because after all, people are probably suffering a lot because emotionally, because they're not seeing the way things used to be. I hate to say it, guys, but things are not going to be the same as they used to be. It don't matter if you like it or not. It doesn't matter if you think it's great. But the truth is, I'm sure when you wake up every morning and you see it's only 9 degrees Celsius outside and it's overcast and it's cloudy and it's clammy, possibly because of rain, it's affecting your mental well-being and it affects everybody. Of course, if you have reverse seasonal affective disorder, it doesn't quite affect us the same way. For us, it's like this is good times for us, but we understand that not everybody thinks that way. So, for you, for those of you who do suffer from the depression, and you were all hoping that winter was going to be over, and that your summer was going to change, and you're going to have a wonderful time with the grandkids and the kids out by the poolside. We understand that you're unhappy and that you're miserable. But one of the things is that you need to do is you need to prepare. Things are not the way they're supposed to be. The weather is not normal. Okay? It doesn't matter if I say I want it to be, 35 degrees Celsius outside. It's not going to happen that way. And honestly, I wouldn't want to have 35 degrees Celsius because Michelle would probably end up in the hospital. But here's the deal. We know this is happening. We know the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has been lying through its teeth, telling you mistruths for years. We know that the Weather Underground, which is part of the Weather Channel, is starting to hide the actual truth figures. Because they realize everybody likes to see a graph, and guess what? They took the most important graph off the graphs. So we cannot tell you how this is affecting the temperatures anymore, because the graph is gone. Yes, you can take the information yourself, you can build your own data sets if you want to, because that information is still there. But it's no longer being provided in an easy to swallow pill. Although some of you probably might be relieved that it's not there. For those of us who are involved in the sciences, we need that pill. We need to see the reality of what's going on. It makes our life easier when we can say, look, here's the demographics, here's the results of the events around us, here's how it's affecting our people. That's how science works. It's not a matter of being fun or being exciting or, science sometimes is hard to chew on. But there are things that we can do differently in our society. And the first thing is something that I know human beings have the ability to do. Michelle knows it too. We know the human race is tough, resilient, and smart. And one thing we know is, given what Michelle has told you today, all the things that are going on today, humanity needs to stop thinking that things are A-okay. It's not A-okay. The things are not going to change. Tomorrow is not going to be 20 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow is not going to be a low of 10. It's not going to happen that way. Not right away. Maybe it will eventually, but we're 10 degrees below normal now. So if you think just because, it's alright, we'll manage, we'll adapt. That's true. If you are willing to work towards it. It's definitely not a time for passive people. And while I know that so many in my audience like to heckle and joke around with me and Michelle and saying things like we're rude or we're crude, I'm going to tell you something. We have spent our lives studying these trends. We have worked our way through the scientific method for many, many decades. Michelle knows her stuff. I know Michelle. And I know my stuff when it comes to spirituality. And while you may not think it's important, Michelle and I feel dedicated to make sure to speak up for you. That's right, to you. You're the ones that you need to know so you can better plan. That's the way it is. Don't let somebody out there, especially someone who subscribes to global warming baloney, try to tell you that things are going to be okay if we cut our carbon dioxide footprint. First of all, we can't cut our carbon dioxide footprint enough to overcome the reality. Number two, even if we could cut our carbon dioxide footprint to that level, our plants would die. Our plants need our carbon dioxide. When the sun's shining, they use the carbon dioxide to produce carbohydrates, which we consume in the form of food, like grains and like oats, wheat, barley, corn. Well, getting the proper carbon dioxide during the time of photosynthesis, the plants will be suffering. We have a one-to-one correlation with our plants. If we don't give enough carbon dioxide to them, even with photosynthesis, they can't make the plant sugars. If we try to strip away all the carbon dioxide, we may breathe fine, but they won't, and then we'll still end up dying anyway. So you need to find a compromise. Second of all, there's one thing, solar panels is great, but guess what? Take a look outside right now. You ain't gonna have no energy coming in from your solar panel when it's overcast like it is. Okay? It's that truth. That even the best solar panels right now, they can probably possibly get maybe about 5 to 10% energy efficiency at this point, at the most expensive panels. Those panels don't really do much when it's cloudy. Okay? Second of all, actually, how many forgot many else? Let me just say the next topic. Next topic. Okay, thank you. Next topic is energy density. When it comes to the amount of heat produced from solar panel versus, say, burning a gallon of diesel fuel, the diesel fuel will beat the solar panel instantly. The amount of energy available to diesel fuel, heating oil, gasoline, propane, natural gas is much more dense. The energy density is much more dense. We can burn less fuel in less time and get more energy BTUs, or in this case you want to go talk about British units, or if you want to talk about international units, we're talking about calories here, or joules, or megajoules energy. We can get more out of that unit of fuel. Okay? So, if you try to believe the IPCC says that we should ban fireplaces, we should ban wood stoves, and we should ban natural gas space heaters, we should ban coal burning, we should ban oil burning, we should ban all this fire-producing energy sources and only have solar and wind and hydroelectric, which some people don't even think hydroelectric is green. Well, guess what? It's certainly green. It's just that there's issues with hydroelectric. The fact is that sometimes it causes problems for salmon trying to swim upstream. But no matter. By the time we get the energy that we need, we can get the energy we need from fossil fuels. The earth has created fossil fuels. It is basically her warehouse of energy for those lean times like the coming minimum mini ice age. Don't have that fossil fuel collection because we already burnt it up already before we needed to. And now we need to reuse those fuels. And we need to prepare and harden our infrastructure not only against terrorist attacks, but because we have to make sure that we have a warm place to sleep, eat, and excrete. Oh yes, methane digesters to make fuel from bio waste and animal waste. Great stuff. But is there going to be enough? Well, let's put it this way. By the time all the fecal matter hits the fan, oh yeah, there'll be plenty. The problem is they're going to take a lot of people shoveling that stuff into methane digesters to make fuel so we can keep our lights on. Okay? That's a fact. It's not a matter of being fun. It's the hard times we're coming into. I'm not even talking about the political stuff. Michelle has done plenty of that. And I don't want to focus on the political, because everybody covers the political. Time to talk about the environmental guys, Michelle, you know this, and I know this. You're the North American Snow Queen, and you already said things are not going to be the same anymore. You said that a couple of years ago, around 2011. That's right, I did. I said that a couple of days before the coronation. I said this would be the last normal Christmas. And you meant it. I meant it. It hasn't been the same since. Since 2011, things are not the same. No, they're not. Despite everybody's effort to try to put a smiley face on it, everything's okay. You have to have a fun time. Yeah, but that's a panacea. It's not gonna happen that way. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to be a wet blanket, but I have to be honest. Things are not right. Things are not right. Okay, they're not gonna stay right. Just because you say it is. Because the trends outside, and anyway, just trends analysis will tell you, it's not right. The situation has gone pear-shaped, major. Alright guys, listen. Michelle will be doing her show on Friday. Right. And Dory's doing her show on Thursday. Correct. And what are you going to talk about Thursday? I don't know. Maybe some more of this stuff. Don't bore people to death, Michelle. That's the last thing you need. Well, I'd rather give them the facts than have them constantly tell me that we're being rude and obnoxious. First of all, those people who say that you're being rude and obnoxious, either they do not understand hearing loss, or they just simply are terrible judges of people. Okay? You are not rude or obnoxious. You can be. I can be. But I want to be. The original Snow Queen was rude. She was downright nasty. That's what I want to change. Right now, of course, your season is over. Oh, no, it's not, because you are in charge of all 4 seasons this year. Exactly. So Michelle can make you really miserable if she wanted to. If I choose to. But I'm sounding the alarm because I don't think I could change this forecast for the better for anybody. It's too big. It's not just the North American area. It's a global problem because it's an external event caused by our sun, not by something of moving a few clouds around and trying to bring down warm and cold fronts. I mean, I can make it worse, but can I really make it better? I mean, the most important thing I could do is just like Paul Revere did, is to tell you the climate is changing. The climate is changing. Get ready for it because it's changing, and that's all I can do. Okay. Well, for right now, guys, that's it for today, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay? Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.